Shalom. Shalom and welcome. This is Yashar'al Living Orders and Commands. It is an end time series. I want to welcome you. My name is Symmanayah, and today is January 23rd, 2015. These are the words I am compelled to present to those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Creator, the Almighty Father Yahuwah. You will indeed come, if not already, to discover Yahusha Messiah. This is part 3 of a multi-part segment entitled Discerning the Vision. This is part 3. It is a component to establish foundational principles that will contribute towards living orders and commands that are unfolding before our very eyes. Let me continue with my experience, my brothers and sisters, as I invite you to consider the following words. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 through 15 says, And Yahuwah the Almighty One formed man out of the dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils breath of life, and the man became a living being. And Yahuwah the Almighty One planted a garden in Eden to the east, and there he put man whom he had formed. And out of the ground Yahuwah the Almighty One made every tree grow that is pleasant to his sight and good for food, with the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And the river went out of the garden, out of Eden, to water the garden, and from there it divided and became 4 riverheads. The name of the first one is Pishon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Hahuilah, where there is gold, and the gold on that land is good. Bdellium is there, and Shoham stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one surrounding the entire land of Cush. And the name of the third river was Hiddekal. It is the one which goes towards the east of Ashur. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Almighty One took man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and guard it. My brothers and sisters, it was brought to mind that the region where life began is indeed located in the region we know as the Middle East, or some may know as Northeastern Africa. I was also reminded of Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. It said, And they gathered together to a place called in Hebrew Har Megiddo. It was also brought to my mind Revelation 19, 19 and 19:20. Chapter 19, verse 19 and 20. And I saw the beast and the sovereigns of the earth and their armies gathered together to fight him who sat on the horse and his army. And the beast was seized with him and the false prophet who worked signs and presents, by which he led astray those who received the mark of the beast and those who worship his image. The 2 were thrown alive into the lake of fire burning with sulfur. My brothers and sisters, it was as though the Spirit of Yahushua was showing me that the final battle against him, against his children, against the children of obedience, will also occur in the region where life began. I continued to pray and inquire, and I believe the Almighty Father, through his set-apart Spirit sent in Yahushua's name, brought to mind the current degrading conditions on our planet. I was instructed to begin to place an X mentally in my mind as to what has occurred around the earth regarding man's sustainability. Clearly, after all that was revealed to me, I was convinced that habitable places on this planet will roll up like a scroll, with the end occurring in the same region where life began. I prayed and prayed, seeking to understand where were we right now in the timeline of the Most High's plan regarding the return of Yahusha Messiah. And I was compelled to believe, due to current conditions of this planet, they were consistent with the words that are being echoed, such as tipping point, point of no return, depopulation, peak levels, extinction level events, and more, which are echoing across the planet, indicating that man is indeed on a collision course to total extinction. I was reminded how scientists and many leaders believe we are on that collision course to extinction, and many believe we are at a point of no return. Though the years may vary in one's opinion, from a decade to a quarter of a century to 100 years, the majority have begun to say less than 100 years. Some are saying it could be in decades, if not sooner. I was directed to look at all that is occurring on this planet and the rate of speed in which the degradation of our planet is moving. The rate in which it is moving, the speed of which it is moving. With man admitting that there is no real solution in sight. Just recently I read an article that the Doomsday Clock that man used, that scientists used, was moved up by 2 minutes to 3 minutes before midnight. Although they have played with this clock back and forth and moved the times backwards and forwards, it is becoming more apparent, my brothers and sisters, that we have indeed, from a natural perspective, reached the point of no return, which means that total extinction of man is not far away. And while many of you may wrestle with these words, consider what the scripture says. It was brought to my attention, I believe, by the Spirit of Yahusha. 1 Corinthians 15:53 says, "For this corruptible has to put on incorruption, and this mortal to put on immortality." It was also brought to mind 1 John 3:2, "Beloved ones, now we are the children of the Almighty One. It has not yet been revealed what we shall be, but we know that when he is revealed, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is." As well as 1 Corinthians 15:50, "And this I say, brothers, that flesh and blood is unable to inherit the reign of the Almighty One, neither does corruption inherit incorruption." My brothers and sisters, it became more apparent that scriptures speak of what one could consider total extinction of man by the putting off of the corruptible and putting on the incorruptible. I was also reminded of the passage by the preacher. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 20 and 21 reads, all are going to one place. All came from the dust, and all return to the dust. Who knows the spirit of the sons of men, which goes upward, and the spirit of the beast, which goes down to the earth? And Ecclesiastes 12:6 and 7 reads, "Remember him before the silver cord is loose, or the golden bowl is broken, or the jar shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the well. And the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to the Almighty One who gave it." Hebrews 9:27 and 28 said, "And it awaits men to die once, and after this judgment. So also Messiah, having been offered once to bear the sins of many, shall appear a second time, apart from sin, to those waiting for him unto deliverance." Clearly, my brothers and sisters, the scriptures I just read and much more were convincing enough for me to continue on the path that I am journeying, that I find myself walking. I am motivated to continue to pray and seek to understand and identify the voice of the Spirit of Yahusha as I press forward. It is and was confirmed that we are on a collision course towards the final days of man in these earthen vessels as we know it. I believe the Spirit of Yahusha also brought to mind that the earth, the sea, and the trees have been harmed. I was compelled to revisit the following passage, Revelations chapter 7, verse 2 and 3. It reads as follows, "And I saw another messenger coming from the rising of the sun, holding the seal of the living Almighty One. He cried with a loud voice to the 4 messengers to whom it was given to harm the earth and the sea, saying, Do not harm the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, until we have sealed the servants of the Almighty One upon their foreheads." My brothers and sisters, through my experience, through my prayer, through what I believe was an experience with the Spirit of Yahusha, I was informed that the earth, the sea, and the trees have indeed been harmed. I believe unwaveringly that as a result of the conditions on this planet, the earth, the sea, the trees have been harmed. The earth, from massive pollution and global warming and increased CO2 levels and methane gas levels, through the pollutants from radioactive waste spewing into the sea and buried in our landfills, and the chemicals and the toxic waste, that we have indeed destroyed the earth in more ways than one can imagine. The sea, how many is aware that Fukushima has been spewing radioactive waste into the largest ocean on this planet for nearly 4 years now? It began March 11, 2011, and it continued. Fukushima, who was aware of the dangers that it posed. The trees, deforestation out of man's greed. We have torn and destroyed many trees out of our greed under the guise of progress. Many are unaware that the trees absorb the CO2, but due to the degradation, the destruction, the deforestation that have occurred worldwide, we do not have enough trees to absorb the CO2 and methane, the CO2 that is rising within our atmosphere. We have reached that tipping point, my brothers and sisters. Though the media may share information that confirm these words and sometimes deny these words, what say you, O Yashar'al? Are you able to discern that we have moved beyond types and shadows, that we have indeed entered into end times? As for me, I believe unwaveringly that as a result of such conditions on this planet, that the Spirit of Yahusha has informed me that the Almighty Father have sealed his servants in their foreheads. Though I was unclear as to what this meant, I continued to inquire, and I believe the Spirit of Yahusha compelled me to believe that the last generations of man have been established, and it can be timed with the earth, the sea, and the trees being harmed. I'm compelled to believe he, the Spirit of Yahusha, was informing me that we will soon witness those who will become confident and demonstrate the presence, his presence, and be known as the children of obedience, who will speak with confidence of being gathered from the four corners of the earth, who will speak with confidence of being martyrs in these last days, who will speak with confidence that they believe they will be participants of an awakening nation that is emerging as I speak. I believe the Spirit of Yahusha was informing me that we will begin to witness individuals speak boldly regarding their identities and the tasks they believe they are receiving from him, Yahusha Messiah. I believe the Spirit of Yahusha informed me that the seal in their forehead represents individuals who, in their words, as they speak, it would appear they're speaking from thought, from the mental capacity. It would appear they're speaking from their foreheads, but they will be speaking from the Spirit within them. But not only will they speak what's in them, we will see it reflected by their actions of set apartness. So I believe, my brothers and sisters, that seal will represent set apartness coming from us in word, in deed, in action, and that the last generations before the return of Yahusha Messiah are upon us. In other words, there are those of us who are physically alive right now who will never see physical death as we know it. We will face the physical death upon transformation and the return of Yahusha Messiah. There are those of us among us now who will be among the ranks of the final gathered, the 144,000 in the great multitude. Allow me to pause here, my brothers and sisters. Let me pause with this multi-part segment, Discerning the Vision. I pray that you're able to discern the foundational contribution these words will contribute as we press on into this series entitled Yashar'al Living Orders and Commands. For there are living orders and commands, and proof will come in a phenomenal and extraordinary way. There will be those of us who in hindsight will be glad we made the decisions that we made, and there will be those of us who will regret. There will be those among us who will repent and be restored in the strength and power and might through the washing of the blood of the Lamb, Yahusha Messiah. And we will witness rising up in his spirit, strong. We will witness the importance of discerning the vision, for we will come to see that in the vision, expectations are confirmed and reinforced as to what must and will be done between now and the physical return of Yahusha Messiah. Stay tuned, my brothers and sisters, as I continue with this multi-part series entitled Discerning the Vision. You are listening to Yashar'al Living Orders and Commands, an end-time series, a series of messages that I believe I am compelled to present by the Spirit of Yahusha Messiah. Stay tuned for part 4. Shalom, shalom, shalom.